Hello, and welcome back to Nerd News. Today we have a Nintendo Direct announced for the Mario movie, along with Bleach Episode 8 airing today. Let's get started. First up, we have the Nintendo Direct, and it was announced for 11:29 at 5 p.m. Eastern. That's tomorrow afternoon. For the Mario movie, we will be getting our second official trailer. And after the first trailer, which looked really, really good, I'm actually really excited for this. The picture they're using to show this direct off is Peach's castle on the inside. So I'm hoping that means we get to see Peach in this one, and we'll see from there. But it looks really, really solid right now. I really did enjoy that first trailer, and can't wait for this one. So we'll talk more about it tomorrow after it happens, but this is pretty big news, and I was personally expecting this at the Game Awards, so getting it just like a week before the Game Awards is a pretty big deal, because that means we're probably not getting a third trailer at the Game Awards. But that's fine, because that means we're getting it this week, and that's always good news. It's always good to see things earlier. And next up from ArtFXJ, we have this new Dawn figure announced with Turtwig. And they put out some good figures. I think there's a Dawn with Piplup as well, but this is a new one with Turtwig, and I mean, it's cool. I like Dawn. Dawn's, especially for the first couple of generations, probably the better female protagonist. Like, just character design wise. I like this. This is cool. ArtFX puts out some pretty decent stuff, so we'll see about this one. I might pick this one up. I wanted to get some of the old Pokemon figures, but if you didn't get them when they first came out, they started going for ridiculous amounts of money, and I'm not paying for that. So maybe, since I'm catching this one before it releases, I'll be able to pick it up at a reasonable price. And speaking of merchandise at a reasonable price, we talked about this a few weeks ago, or a week last week, something like that. But Yu-Gi-Oh pillows were announced, and it appears those same pillows are just at Five Below. Here's a picture of all 6 of them. We got Kaiba, Yugi, Red Eyes, Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, and Dark Magician Girl. And there's an image of them being found at Five Below in a bin. I mean, these were selling for like $25 when announced. That was the announced price. I think was $20 or $25. So this is a pretty big deal that they're at Five Below. I personally haven't seen them, and I was just at Five Below over the weekend. But I'm going to be keeping an eye out and hoping to pick them up. Like I said, when they announced, I kind of want all of them. So I'll be looking to find all of them. I did not see them on their website when I checked, but that was, I think, yesterday morning. At the time of video comes out. That was in the morning when I first saw this news. I didn't see them on the website. Maybe they're up now, but keep an eye out. You might be able to get them for literally like a quarter of the price. And sticking with Yu-Gi-Oh news, we have the first card revealed in the new TCG exclusive archetype, Gold Pride, and this one is Gold Pride Leon, a Wind level 3 Warrior Tuner effect, 1500 attack, 1200 defense. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one non-warrior Gold Pride monster in your graveyard, special summon in the defense position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of this turn except Gold Pride monsters. During your opponent's main phase, you can, quick effect, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon one synchro monster using only Gold Pride monsters you control. You can only use each effect of Gold Pride Leon once per turn. I mean, it's a pretty neat card. I like that if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you get to special summon this card. That's a obviously good effect. And then if this card's no more special summoned, so it triggers its own effect, you can special summon a non-warrior from the graveyard in defense position, which immediately sets you up for a synchro summon. But we don't know any of the other Gold Pride monsters, so that doesn't tell us a whole lot. It's kind of going to come down to what the other monsters are, and most importantly, what the synchro monsters are. Because this locks you out of summoning anything from the extra deck besides the Gold Pride cards. Those are going to have to be really strong. However, it does lock you out of it for the rest of the turn, and it has a quick effect to summon during your opponent's turn. So, and it just requires you to use Gold Pride monsters. You're not actually locked into summoning a Gold Pride monster. So maybe that's like kind of how they circumvent it. You know, you can special summon, but you can't link climb with them. You can special summon them on your turn, and then on your opponent's turn go into the whatever synchros you need to go into. But I feel like most likely this is going to kind of hard lock you into Gold Pride cards, or at least semi-lock you into Gold Pride cards, which is fine as long as the extra deck monsters that this is built around are worth it. And obviously it's going to come down to what the other cards are, though. And also how many waves of support this gets. If it gets 1 or 2 waves, they both have to be really strong, because you basically have to build a complete deck out of this. You can't just get 3 or 4 good cards like we get with pretty much every other TCG archetype, and like those 3 or 4 cards be good, but the rest aren't good. You need an entire deck to be good for this to function, especially if they're going to lock you into the archetype itself. Other than that, looks cool, like the artwork. We'll see. It could be interesting, though. It's funny that this and the fish archetype were both synchroing on your opponent's turn. That's weird. I don't know why they did that back to back. Back to back archetypes are just synchro summons on your opponent's turns. It's a little strange, but regardless, this seems pretty cool. And lastly for today, we have Bleach episode 8, which aired yesterday morning at 11:30. And like every week, we talk about it a little bit. But this week is going to be really quick because I don't really have anything to say. It wasn't a bad episode. There's nothing wrong with it. It was still pretty solid, but really we just meet the Zero Division, and then Ichigo goes to Zero Division. That's pretty much it. We find out that Byakuya did survive, which, I mean, I knew that already, so it's not a huge deal to me, but I can understand if, as an anime-only viewer, maybe that was a bigger deal to you. Obviously, him dying would be huge for the series, but it's probably better that he just lives. We also find out Zaraki survived, which I think most people were just expecting. His defeat didn't seem to be life-threatening. It was more just a, defeat. It didn't seem as bad. Although, to be fair, no one's battles seemed anywhere near as bad as Byakuya's. Byakuya's literally just obliterated by his own Bankai, which was insane. But besides that, there wasn't a whole lot going on in this episode. It was a very slow episode, just a rebuilding of what the aftermath was. There wasn't a whole lot of progression for the series. It was mostly just, melling everything out. The battle's over, seeing where everyone's at, making sure people are alive, seeing who's dead, and that's pretty much it. Overall, a pretty good episode. Not my favorite, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's a story beat that has to happen that just isn't super interesting, in my opinion, mostly because I already know where it's going. I think that does have a lot to do with it. If you've never seen the Zero Division before, I feel like this is probably way more interesting. I remember when reading it, I was really interested in it, just because meeting the Zero Division for the first time was really cool. But having already seen them and I know where they're going and what the story is for them, this is just a little bit less interesting for me personally. But again, I think that's just because I read the manga and I'm not, new to this. I think for anime-only viewers, this is probably still a really solid episode. It was good, though. I liked it. Can't wait for next week. I say that every week because this is probably my favorite show on TV right now. But I can't wait for next week because next week does have some stuff I really am looking forward to seeing. So we'll get there then. Solid episode, though. It was good. It was definitely worth watching. And that's all the news for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let me know what you think we're going to see in the Mario movie trailer. Besides Peach, who I think is a pretty much a shoo-in for a reveal at this point. Are there any other characters that you expect to see? Do you think we'll see Donkey Kong today? I'm really hoping. Next to... Actually, no. Donkey Kong's the most important character for me to see. They have to get Donkey Kong right for me. Donkey Kong's one of my favorite things, just ever, so they have to get that right in my opinion, and I'm really hoping that they do it well. We didn't see him in the first trailer, so really hoping that he's in this one and that it's done well. We'll be back tomorrow with more nerd news.